Welcome to the Fantasy Goons podcast, part of the Pucks Out family. It's time to skip the book and find out the info you need to win your league with Bobby, Davey, and Brandon.
Welcome into the Fantasy Goons. I'm Bobby. He's Davey. He's Brandon.
Hey-o.
You can find us on social media at the Fantasy Goons. Now let's get you the info you need to be a champ. How are you guys today?
Doing good. I'm kind of splitting my leagues. I'm in our leagues. I'm killing it right now, and then my other leagues I'm kind of falling behind a little bit, but good overall.
I had a rough week. I think I went 3-2 this week.
Okay.
Yeah, rough week over here. Ready to push through 3 weeks to try to get to these playoffs, man. I mean, at this point, that's all that matters is getting there. I always say it, going into the playoffs, sitting around, fourth place is where I like to be. I'll tell you, it's not as comfortable though. It's not, maybe my team is going to step up to the plate and help me win a championship. But I don't like it. I don't like fourth place. I'm kind of ready to move up. But I think most leagues are 3 weeks.
Yeah,
correct.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Whew.
Not much news.
It's taut.
Yeah, not much news to get into. There's some trades that are happening. You can catch that on the main show. So we're going to jump straight into weekly impressions. The trade deadline is coming. If you're listening to this on release day, you've got until Monday. Watch out for changes. Obviously, be vigilant. Know that even if your player didn't get moved, if you have players on the Ducks, if they're selling assets, you're going to see their performance kind of dip a little bit, or maybe they move up a line and they get some better performance. You never know. So just keep an eye out. Bon, what do you got? What were your weekly impressions this week?
Just more of an overall since the All-Star break, a lot less scoring.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
A lot less scoring.
I think historically that's always been the case, that scoring dips a little bit after the All-Star break.
Things tighten up a little bit. Wrap up to your stars. Try to get those guys that are around those star guys that are always gonna be able to produce points. It would just be my kind of thought process on that.
Davey, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on the trade deadline. Just be vigilant, like he said. But I'm going to also, you're starting to see now things are starting to shape up in terms of wild card positioning in the Eastern Conference. You're starting to see things are a little bit more set in stone right now. It appears, because you've got Boston, Washington fighting for those wild card spots, and then it's Columbus 10 points behind. Whereas when we go to the Western, it's a battle. It's an absolute battle. You're starting to see Nashville, Vegas, Dallas, Vancouver all pretty tight. And Winnipeg and Anaheim are pretty tight right there.
Very shifting every time you look at it. So
it's looking like Brandon's going to win our water bet again.
Columbus might sneak in. No, there's a limited chance. There's still 10 points behind Washington for that second wild card spot. But man, it's tight. These wild cards the race is happening. So.
Yeah, pickups. I've got Josh Manson, just moved from the Ducks to the Avs. He's 8% owned. Just in the 2 seasons happened, it's going up a 4%. Listen, he's not a star by any means, but he's playing on the Avs, which immediately jumps up his performance probably 50%. If he can fit in your team, I looked. He doesn't fit in a lot of my teams. But there are teams out there, deep leagues, where he's gonna get playing time and he's gonna get some assists, maybe some hits out there on a good team. If it plus and minus, he'll pop. If you have plus and minus, that's always good. So I like Josh Manson. Bondo, who you got?
Yeah, really good call on your part. Tough call. It's hard to know. There's a lot of games next week. Very few teams. A hard choice for me on who I was attempting to even fade, really. And some of the guys that I'm liking, I'm not really liking their schedule as much next week. But let's go with I'm gonna go with Charlie Coyle from the Bruins. Center right wing capabilities. only 10% owned. I feel like you're gonna get some good minutes out of him. Anywhere from 12 to 17 minutes a game. Boston's a team that's going to be competing. They're going to potentially be making some moves that, all the time those moves get you some line shifts. So the teams that traditionally make good moves is someone that I'm going to be targeting this week because their guys may be able to be helped out.
Awesome. I just got alerted on Twitter. I have been selected to get downvoting privileges. I can downvote people stuff now. Pretty excited about that.
Exciting.
Totally not going to abuse that in any way, shape, or form.
What is this on?
On Twitter.
Oh.
I can now downvote. They give certain people privilege to downvote stuff. So I'm like, oh, yeah.
All right.
Perfect.
It's like they don't even listen to the show.
Perfect.
I can't test it out. I actually clicked on something I really like. The Renegades of Puck released their custom jersey, so I'm not going to downvote that because I got one. I ordered one.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
We've personally never had real responsibility between us, but this is probably the biggest.
Yeah,
this is a big one.
Being able to, downvote things on Twitter. I mean, that's great.
Yeah,
perfect.
Did you already?
Here's mine. I've got my pickup this week is Nick Schmaltz.
Love it.
He's hot right now. Everybody's kind of talking about him in the hockey world. He's 52% owned, so he's getting up there now. But he's plus 12%. Everyone's adding him right now, and so get him if you can. 17 goals, 24 assists, center right wing eligibility. Arizona is 7-3-0 in their last 10, so they're starting to play good hockey when Nick Schmaltz goes. Any chance I get to put a North Dakota hockey player in there who played for UND, won the national title with them in 2016. I'm gonna put a North Dakota player in there when I can. So Nick Schmaltz, go get him if you can. He's starting to get. He's gonna be off the board here soon. So.
Yeah. Moving into streams of the week, I am sticking talking about the Avs. They got 4 games this week and they're gonna kill it. Just to see who they play this week. I honestly, with them, it really doesn't matter. But they have 3 home games against the Oilers, the Canucks, the Flyers, and then they go to Minnesota. Wouldn't be surprised if they come out 3-1 and probably all hitting the over in almost all those games. So I like all this. They're gonna whatever superstars they pick up at the deadline to make a push, they're gonna have, and they're probably gonna start working them in. I really like the Avs this coming up week.
I'm going with the Penguins this week. They've got 4 games: Blue Jackets, Sabres, Rangers, Red Wings. 5-4-1 in their last 10. Looking good, looking pretty solid in that second spot right now in the Metropolitan. I don't know if they're going to catch Carolina. They are still 6 games behind Carolina. Carolina's just sick, but I feel good about the Penguins. I like them this week. I think the teams they're playing are a little weaker, so I think that there's a good chance for them to go on a tear here.
It's just their time of year. I love how they're set up this week. I didn't notice you had picked the Penguins, and I had them for one of mine as well. So great choice. I really like that pick. For me, it's going to be the Oilers. I feel like this is crunch time. Whether or not they actually win any of these 4 games that they have this week, I'm not going to make any speculation on that. But what I will say is that they're going to be trying their hardest to get those points. And so whether or not they win or lose, I think that there's going to be some scraps to be picked up there. I like how their schedule is set up. A couple of early games on Monday and Tuesday, back to back with a space, and then playing the Sharks and then the Flames on Saturday, kind of leaving that space in between, giving you an opportunity to drop one of them to pull in somebody on Sunday if you need, and you still have those ads and ads to get in.
Let me
there.
ask you a question about them. There is some speculation that the Oilers, because that they are struggling a bit, could become sellers at the deadline. Does that change your thought process on if they become sellers?
I mean, on the guys that get sold, but on the guys that don't, absolutely,
they're more likely not getting. They're not more likely not getting rid of McDavid or Draisaitl.
Right.
Sure,
Boys,
that's which is what the crux of it is.
If somehow they did, you probably want to fade.
Let me ask you this, since we're talking about potentially selling. That's just a fantasy player going into the where are you guys at on Ryan O'Reilly, because I feel like he's been really letting me down this year, and I got him in a lot of spots just because of his draft.
I got him in one spot, I think. And
I mean, if all right, if you're sitting in second place, you're pretty much guaranteed to go to the playoffs. You hold them on your roster, or you dropping them, you finding somebody that you feel like could make your team better, get you a couple more wins, maybe solidify your position.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for people right now, especially because a lot of people are coming on hot right now. This is that type of year where there's usually like 4 or 5 guys in free agency who you can grab, ride them throughout the playoffs. If he's a cusp guy on your roster right now,
I dropped Ryan O'Reilly a while ago.
Now's the time to risk it, So
sure.
I'm dropping. I'm dropping. If there's somebody better, obviously, that you feel like is on an upward trajectory, who's getting more playing time, more power play time, stuff like that.
I guess that the problem is, Ryan, we get back to talking about it and we give people advice, but we never really take it ourselves. Ryan O'Reilly's a name, right? That's a name. It's hard to get rid of it.
I'll be honest. I made the decision 2 months ago to drop Ryan O'Reilly.
Okay.
It worked out great for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, it's not been a problem. It's not been like I got to make desperate moves to make. I'm fine. I'm feeling
now,
okay. It's just like right
in a
now,
league where I've only lost one game all season, and so now if I went through, maybe I've won a game by a couple points that I would have lost if I had Ryan O'Reilly in there.
I mean, it's not been great. It's not been great to have him. If maybe not. Okay, that's but Oilers this week. I think the sellers, it matters who gets sold. Obviously, with everything, but
absolutely.
But as long as our 2 guys are not getting sold, whoever, I'm just saying, pick up the periphery. Just start snatching up little pieces of anything you can.
Pick up the water boy if you can. If he's holding a water bottle for Connor McDavid, he's getting something.
If they're going to give him some minutes, snag him up.
Moving in to our tailing and fading, I'm tailing the Preds. They've been looking a little bit decent. They had a rough patch after the All-Star break. They went on a West Coast trip, looked good. They fell apart there at the end against the Blues in the beginning, but they came back in the middle. The Wild, they looked really good against the Wild. A good Wild team too. This Preds team's looking good, and hopefully they can sign Philip Forsberg, but either or, I'm tailing them this week. They're going on to another West Coast trip, and then they are home again against Philly. Unfortunately, I won't be there in the West Coast to give them good luck, but I think that they pull out this West Coast trip coming out with some good points and gonna have some good scoring.
Yeah, they went on that losing streak for a minute there, and now they're on a 6-4 in their last 10, so they're picking it back up. Looking good now. Yeah, I like that pick. I'm going with Boston Bruins. Just killing it right now. 8-1-1 in their last 10. They're getting hungry. They're in a wild card spot. I mean, and it's looking like they could land a top 6 before the trade deadline. So if Boston lands another top 6, like this team is just they're going to kill it. I think they're just going to annihilate teams. But I don't know. It feels like they keep getting close. They get close, and then we feel like on paper their team should be dominant, and they just aren't doing what they're doing. Yeah. So if they land a top 6, I think they're really going to tear it up. They're already doing that right now.
100%.
So Bruins.
Brandon, what you got?
Yeah, I got Tampa. I mean, they have actually not been that great over the past few
games. Add a rim pick. Look. I just saw it. He's got the notification. He's adding people during the show. I love it.
I always do that.
It's the best.
I always be adding folks.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, don't. No worries. No worries. No, I got Tampa. They have not been fantastic over their past 5-ish, 6-ish games. But I mean, it's just a team that is going to be looking for number 3 in a row. I mean, it's just that time of year that these guys are going to be able to step up for you. I believe they have 4 games. Am I correct in saying that? Yeah, 4 games. You can kind of backload. I feel like they're kind of a perfect match for if you grabbed up a couple of those Oilers guys, that the Tampa guys will actually be able to backload for you in a similar fashion. So that's where I'm going, Tampa.
Yeah, I like it. Fading. Why don't you move us right into the fading?
Yeah, fading. Again, only really one really low amount of games this week. That was jacked right up for the first person that gets on the thing. Anybody that has 2 games, that's going to be the number 1 pick, because just purely based off the lack of numbers. Loved your pick, Bob, obviously. So I'm going to go with a similar pick, Buffalo.
Okay.
3 games. It's just a team that has been better. I'm not going to say that they haven't been better. It's just a team that's been not great, and everybody's got 3 games. So why would I pick a team that is not doing great?
Yeah.
So,
Dave.
Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm going with the obvious this week. The Kraken, 2-6-2 in their last 10. At this point, I feel like they're just trying to lose games. 2 games this week. So small week. If I wasn't going to pick Kraken, I was going to go Devils. Tough week. They do have 4 games, but they do have 3 really difficult games. Rangers, Toronto, Capitals, and then Montreal. But so if I wasn't going to go with the obvious, I'd go Devils. But
yeah, I thought about that, but I looked at the 4 games. I was like, there's a chance for those numbers.
Yeah.
The Yotes. They've only got 3 games. They're the Yotes. I mean, they're probably getting rid of their main player this week, Chychrun. So there's really no reason after he leaves to really have anybody there. It's pretty basic, guys. Stay away from the Arizona. Anyone else got anything to add?
How long's Chychrun out?
No, because he might get traded.
He's just got injured.
Oh, did he?
He's out like
did that
3
change?
weeks or something. I mean, something.
Did I miss that? Oh shit, that's gonna affect his.
Yeah, his trade value is like not there.
Well, so I guess that still works from
2 to 4 weeks with an LBI.
That's
lower
not
body.
bad. 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that could just be them saying that to rest him and get
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
asset protection or something. But either I don't think 2 to 4 weeks with LBI is going to affect his trade value that much.
Yeah.
Because it takes 2 to 4 weeks to really get kind of in the groove. But still stands the Yotes, even with they don't have him, so he won't be there to feed other people some points. But all right, guys, that about wraps it up. Have a great week. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Peace.
This has been the Fantasy Goons podcast, brought to you by Standing Stone Farms. Listen to the boys every week and join in on the conversation on the 3 majors of social media.